I've been working on that statement I just made for 10 years. For a decade, I've been thinking about use of capital, time, money, energy, and attention. And for 10 years, I said, with what you want to line up use of capital with what people say is important to them. And I've been thinking about the word say for a decade. It always felt a little off because it turns out I don't actually care what you say is important to you. I mean, I do, but what I care much more about what is actually important to you. Those can often be very different things. So again, like this is another place that we don't think about how valuable your job is in people's lives. Is the difference between say what's important to you and what is actually important to you could be a decade of exploration. Like you keep saying that you want to retire to a boat and sail around the world. Have you ever actually been on a boat? You know, like that's a terrible example, but it's actually, I've actually had that experience. Like, have you ever actually been on a boat? It's not that, I mean, for some people it's really cool, but it might not be. So, but the difference between what you say and what is actually important to you, right? And what's actually important to you in every moment is actually really easy for us to figure out because we can see it through your revealed, what the literature calls revealed preferences. You know, you can say time with your family, mainly outside, is really important to you, but I'll tell you what's actually important to you, Carl, is ESPN and the New York Times, even though you say you don't care at all. ESPN is really actually quite important to you. You spend more time on ESPN than you do connected with your daughter. Don't tell me that your family is the most important thing to you. Right? Wow, that's really painful. And as soon as I feel that pain, I'm like, check engine light shows up in my head, like, don't run, don't run. Aren't you glad you have that information? Because maybe you could close this gap a little bit. Greetings, Carl Richards here, and the clip you just watched was from the monthly chapter meeting of the Society of Advice. It's a thing we call the membership, and we got crazy with the sketches this time. What we explored this month was how to close the gap between our own personal values and our actions. You've got this thing you want to do. You desperately want to see it in the world, this thing that you care deeply about, and yet you're not doing it. How do we close that gap? That's what we talked about. It's for real financial advisors who want to do work that matters and make sure it gets out in the world. And we would love to have you. For more information on the Society of Advice membership program, just make sure you grab the link below.